I am 61 and I've been in the business since I'm 14. So it's been, 47 years or something?
7 years.
Yeah.
Wow, in the jewelry game.
Yeah, nothing was ever given to me or inherited or handed to me, so to speak. It's starting at the bottom. I actually started by cleaning laboratories for a very high-end jewelry company in Manhattan. They promoted me to a messenger boy. When the deliveries were done and the place was cleaned, I'd sit down, I watched the jewelers. I became a polisher, I became a diamond setter. I went in the production department, learned all about my knowledge of stones. And then I graduated high school and the owner said, I think you'll be a good salesman. And he gave me a bag that was like $3 million, $3 million, $3 million in jewelry. We went in his office, we sat down. He said, you live in New York. You're gonna drive to Hartford, Connecticut, Boston, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. Look up jewelers, and whichever jeweler was showing the biggest ads for diamonds or Rolex watches, rip those pages out, and that's the jeweler you wanna visit. So I got in the car and I drove, and Boston was incredible because there's one street there where there was like hundreds of jewelers in that one street. I came back 3 weeks later and I sold. And he said, okay. Then I got in the car and I went from Jersey, and from Jersey I went down to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia I went down to Delaware, and Delaware then I went down to Baltimore, DC. Then I went to the Virginias, the Carolinas, Atlanta, Florida. And I was gone about a month. And I came back and I sold a lot of jewelry. About 4 years, I drove the whole United States. 11 and a half months out of the year, I was a poor kid, and they gave me that opportunity and I ran with it. The owner said, you see what you did in the United States? I want you to do it in Europe. So one of the biggest jewelry shows in the world was in Basel, Switzerland. And I laid out all these examples of people from all over Europe that have stores. It wasn't open to the public. Came and they bought, and I met agents and buyers and representatives, and the next thing I was doing the same thing in Europe. And this is before the iPhone, where you put like an address in the phone and it tells you where to go. And then he said, I want you to do Asia. So I went to Tokyo, I went to Hong Kong. So for literally about almost 25 years, I traveled the whole world selling jewelry. I said, let me open a store. So I was thinking Tokyo, I was thinking London, I was probably considering New York, Florida, Vegas, and I was like, Hollywood, Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills. There's only one 90210. I think it was 2009. I changed the name after my two sons. Peter and Marco are actually my kids.
Get them on there you go.
Yeah.
Is that Peter or Marco?
That's the Peter.
Okay, yeah. Peter. Awesome. That story you told me sounds like a scene out of Blow.
Thank you.
Remember that? When
yes.
they handed down the thing? Yeah. So they gave you, what, $3 million worth of jewelry to sell?
Yeah. What happened was my father left when I was 4, so I grew up in a single family household. One day I come home from school and I'm like 16 years old and my mother says, we're moving to Europe. And I looked at her and I said, what do you mean we're moving to Europe? Oh. So I said, I'm not moving, I'm doing really well. At this time I was a jeweler making good money.
At 16?
16. And so at 16 years old, I went out and got my own apartment.
In New York?
In New York.
Holy moly.
I wasn't even done with high school, and it was important to me to get at least a high school diploma. What I did is I went to school from 7:30 to 11:30. I worked at the company from 12 to 6, wow. And then I went to night school in Manhattan from 6:30 to 9:30, and I did that for 3 years to get enough credits to graduate high school. Cleaned, cooked, worked, went to school, did my homework, paid my bills, and when you're left on your own and you have to, work and survive, you grow up really quick. I know that that's what prepared me for traveling the world.
And there was no language barrier being in Asia?
No. It's the universal language.
Money and jewelry, right?
Yeah. Yes.